Well, jeepers! You're listening to Smash or Pass.
Hi everyone, welcome to another video on the JayBee
Hello.
and Milly channel. We are as always joined by Rhianna.
Oh.
Okay, so in today's episode we are going to be reviewing Jeepers, It's the Creeper. So as always, to get us started, let's go for a Rhianna plot summary.
Okay, so the plot summary. We start the episode with a bank guard driving through the evening countryside, but it gets blocked by a log on the road, and out from the bushes, a green-faced monstrous figure rises and stalks him. And meanwhile, the team, Scooby Gang, are off to their school's dance, which is being hosted at a rural barn, and it is hugely disrupted by the Creeper, a zombie-like figure who has been seen at night robbing banks in the town. Now, the gang, they search the woods and countryside for clues while being chased by the Creeper and encountering an eccentric old hermit who wants their company. Will they find out who the Creeper is, or will we all be yelling Jeepers by the end of this episode?
Jeepers.
Jeepers!
Okay, so let's deep dive into this episode a little bit more. So right from the start you see the Creeper. So JayBee, first thoughts?
I don't like the Creeper.
Is it too humanoid for you?
It is. It's controversial. Because everyone loves the Creeper. I don't hate the Creeper, but they're just a weird looking, clunky guy that can't walk properly. Like, you can go to any countryside in England and see that.
I mean, to be fair, you are going to outrun this guy.
He's just a weird man. Like, I can find 5 people that look exactly like the Creeper in the local pub. Hand on heart, they could play the live action characters. It's just a boring villain. I like how it says like the Creeper or Creeper or whatever it says, but ultimately, it's just a clumsy humour.
Oh, okay, Rhianna, our voice of positivity. Do you want to say what your thoughts are?
For me, the Creeper is one of the iconic villains, I feel, because we see them in Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase and things like that, which I love this Cyber Chase scene where the Daphnes dress him up and all of that, and then boom, take a picture and he gets burnt on the face and everything. I feel like that's really funny. And the Creeper was also in an episode of Scooby Doo and Guess Who with the Flash, so I feel like the Creeper shows up everywhere, and there are also references in Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated with Alice May being supposedly his daughter and things like that. So I feel like the Creeper is just one of those that really it does stick out design wise. Very humanoid, as JayBee said, but I feel like it's kind of scary in a lot of ways as well, because it being like a zombie type thing and moving that slowly as well, and being like Creeper.
That's a good point. I mean, JayBee, have you never been scared creeped out by any of the zombies in The Walking Dead or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, but if there's only one of them, and again, The Walking Dead, they can bite you, they can infect you. This guy, he's maybe gonna violate me. I don't know what else.
But do you know that they're not gonna bite you like the Walking Dead one?
I mean, I wouldn't be calm. Like, say if it appeared at the house, yeah, I'd be terrified. But ultimately,
would you say Jeepers, It's the Creeper?
I might do. And I think I'd even be more scared if that showed up than, say, a monster that I do really like the tar monster. But I think ultimately the tar monster logistically would do more damage to me. Because with the Creeper, I can lock the doors, barricade them, and I'm pretty much safe. The tar monster, if I tried that, would end up going through the drains and just suffocating me or something awful.
See, one thing where I think this shows its limitations, I don't have anything wrong with the aesthetics of the Creeper, but the fact they're going to a school dance in their normal outfits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
For me, that's really strange, because obviously we're at an era in Scooby now where they'd give Daphne a different purple dress.
And also, it's the only time that we've properly heard, like, that they're still in school. And then you assume that if they're in school, then this episode takes place in their hometown, which is either Crystal Cove or Coolsville. Obviously now more Coolsville, probably, but again, it's interesting to think that the people that were at the dance with them are their schoolmates. It's interesting.
Okay.
And then obviously school dances tend to happen at the end of the term. So then we can assume that all the past episodes have taken place in between classes. You know, I don't know. You can definitely see how the Mystery Incorporated team looked at this and then thought, okay, let's flesh this world out a bit more.
Okay, so on the way to the dance, they see the bank guard lying in the road.
This annoyed me.
Okay.
Because this is exactly what not to do. If you're driving and you see someone lying on the floor in the middle of the countryside,
Don't
surrounded
stop.
by no one, maybe you stop.
Call the police,
Yeah,
but don't get out
the
your car.
last thing you do is get out your car and go over to them.
To be fair, it's perhaps different if there's 4 of them and a dog.
Yeah, but it's not great, is it? Like, oh, what? So the one that goes to check them was like mauled.
Although one should maybe stay with the car so it doesn't get stolen.
Or at least like get ready to ram the person if they leave. Or I mean, that's just not what. That's exactly what not to do. And I'm convinced that it's programming like this. I think maybe it was a more trusting time, no? Because nowadays, I would automatically assume that it's a scam of some type. Maybe that's more sad about the world than it is about this episode.
No, we were taught this thing in school that there was this like con thing where people were leaving like a baby chair at the side of the road at night, like a car seat, to encourage women on the road to stop, and like that was a way to entice people and get people.
It is. I think it's a scam. But then again, if they're just doing this willy-nilly, I think that's why there's so many serial killers in like the 70s, because it's just crazy. Who gets out of the car to check someone? Like just in the middle of, okay, if it's in the middle of a city, maybe. But in a country road? No. I guess PSA to viewers out there. Call the authorities. Keep your distance. Keep a reasonable distance. Do not go out and physically huddle up next to someone just lying down on the road. Just don't do it, man. What do you think, Rhianna? Like, did you hear about this stranger danger thing, or would you go to help this individual in the way that the gang did?
For me, I was definitely taught stranger danger. Don't go near strange people. It'd be terrifying. But I think because they're like as a group and they're notorious for getting into these situations of let's help out this person, let's chase after this guy who's going to kill us. Snow Ghost in the last and the I still can't say his name properly. In the last episode I know the guy who was like the monster was Mr. Fong. Like I'm just gonna call him Mr. Fong, and the Snow Ghost, like they were genuinely trying to kill them. They were warned. They were warned, and they still did it. I feel like this group of teenagers don't listen, but they think that because they're in a group they're safer or something. So I guess it's somewhat okay, but don't go up to strangers. Don't, especially with bands. Stay away from them, okay? Be safe, kids. Be safe.
Yeah, even if you're in a gang, because quite often, or in a group, what the people will do is they'll have, people hiding off to the side, right? So even if there's, a lot of you, you could still get jumped. But that's besides the point. That's just some weird PSA. It's dodgy, I didn't like it, but...
I mean, regardless of everything, they make it to the school dance, and one thing that I like is Shaggy leaving Velma so that they can dance with Scooby.
Oh, that's very Mystery Incorporated, isn't it? Or Mystery Incorporated was very this, so yeah.
Ooh,
Up yours, Purists. It was following the original show. How do you like them apples?
So, speaking of music and dancing, I'm in love with an ostrich.
Are you in love with an ostrich? Why are you in love with
The
an
song
ostrich?
for this episode, right?
Yes.
I'm in love with an ostrich.
Daydreaming.
This is a great song. I think this is top 5 Scooby songs of all time. It's just wonderful. Unfortunately, I think it's maybe the last really like banger of a song. Maybe there's one more actually that I can think of.
Until What's New.
No, that's well, I forget how many are in the Scooby Doo show, or in like I guess technically season 3 of this, right? Like the Willow. But then it still has the different intro. Do you remember the Willow?
No.
You don't remember
Yes.
the Willow?
What?
Boo.
Boo!
But yeah, this is a banging song. What did you think about it, Rhianna?
Well, I'm a bit too busy daydreaming because my head's in the sand. And gee, am I glad? I love this song. I'm in love with an ostrich. It was actually, fun fact. Okay, so I'm a musician, as people know. I play lots of instruments. This was the 3rd song that I taught myself to play all by ear. I listened to it and then I taught myself how to play on guitar. And then later on, I discovered that online. This was recent. I've only recently started playing guitar. I discovered you can find sheet music online and tabs for guitar, and I discovered this website that has it. And luckily, I was playing it all correctly to begin with. But it was the 3rd song that I taught myself because I love it that much. And if you want to know the first 2, you have to ask in the next Q&A that we do, obviously. But I love it, and I'm in love with an ostrich.
Well, the next Q&A is soon, I think. I think it's a lot sooner than people think, with season 2 being slightly on the shorter side. I'll say that. Like, what episodes do we have coming up, Rhianna?
We have. Let me just quickly check. So, we have Scooby's Night with a Frozen Fright, Haunted House Hang Up. That's the 5th episode. Wait. Then we have. So I'm just quickly getting up my list. A Tiki Scare is No Fair, so that's the 6th. And then there is. I'm sorry it's taking me so long. I'm really, really sorry. Then Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Werewolf? Oh my gosh, that song in that one. Oh gosh, that when we get to that one.
I'm not
It's
afraid of
chef's
the werewolf.
You are.
I'm not.
Oh,
I've seen that
Don't
episode
Fool
with
with
you.
a Phantom.
Oh.
So Don't Fool with a Phantom is the 8th and final episode of this 2nd season, and it's the 25th overall and the final episode overall in the series. Before we're moving on to, because technically season 3 is technically the Scooby Doo show, so.
And technically, then, we're not guaranteed any episodes past the 25th one, right?
JayBee, shut up.
What?
I am not sitting here through all these seasons just to not get to What's New and Mystery Incorporated. They're the series that I'm here for. Like, Purists and Rhianna can hate me, but I'm not here for this. This isn't why I wanted to do the series.
Well, no, I agree, and that's what annoys me about the Purists. Like, if season 1 or if Where Are You is your favourite, then that's fantastic, right? Even if it's, oh, the backgrounds are better, even if it's, oh, the music was better, even if it's,
The music wasn't better. What's New?
No.
Like,
Even if,
notably the best.
Even if you're like, oh, well, it came out in 1969. 69 is my favourite number, right? I'll accept that. The one thing I won't accept is, oh, well, that was the first one, so without the first one, we wouldn't have all the others. Screw you. That's so just like, oh, and maybe it's my own ego talking, right? Because I get upset when people, they don't use it for this reason, but it personally upsets me when everyone's like, oh, my favourite of these like face cam interviews you've done is Marty Grafstein. And it's like, oh, well, don't tell me that I've peaked in like episode 1. Like, that's just awful. And it's like, okay, it's the first. It doesn't mean that it needs to be your favourite. Iron Man was the first MCU movie.
It's nothing compared to Endgame.
It was my favourite for a while, but Infinity War,
Endgame,
Winter Soldier,
the new Spider-Man.
What do you mean it's the first? Well, oh, World War One, was that better than World War Two? Is that your favourite one? No, but you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. Oh, when you have a kid, is the first one going to be your favourite?
It was for your parents.
Oh no, that's ridiculous. Oh, that's ridiculous. I can't believe that I just got done like that. That's the most ridiculous thing.
I'm sorry, it's just very funny because it's
That's
accurate.
absurd.
No, but it's accurate though.
Yeah, thanks. I was just going on a rant about Purists, and now you've reminded me of the desperate, desolate
No,
existence.
because like you're like my favourite person, so it's okay.
Was I your first?
Yeah, it's why you're my favourite.
Shut up.
I'm sorry, JayBee, that was too funny not to say.
That's my rant over. No, I can't say that, can I?
What?
Well, technically, I had a first experience that I've clung to.
JayBee's a Daphne simp.
Right, well that's my reason. Please,
He's not
any
just a
other
Daphne.
reason except for it's the first
But it
one.
was.
It was the first one. Okay, fine.
They got the chronology right.
What was the first series that featured 5 kids?
Oh, JayBee.
No, 4 kids, or was it 5 kids?
If
4 or
you're
5
going with
kids
where I think you're going with them.
and a
That's
dog.
the reason I'm marrying you.
And a dog. It wasn't Scooby. It was all of the work of Enid Blyton, pretty
Wait.
much. Was a load of
Hang
kids
on.
and a dog solving mysteries, multiple seasons, multiple books, multiple episodes of that was written way back in the 40s, 30s, at least 30 years before Scooby. Oh, that's the first one. Well, is that better then?
Wait.
Fine. Enid Blyton's my favourite series of Scooby.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fine.
I'm gonna say, and
Scooby originated in the UK, and I'll have it no other way.
I'm gonna be hated for this by a heck of a lot of people, but I seriously support what JayBee said purely on
Yes.
the basis, and this is gonna like make me everybody's least favourite, is that I much by far prefer Famous Five to Scooby Doo.
What?
Well, I think I prefer Find Outers, what I've seen so far,
yeah.
Yeah.
to series
Oh,
one.
but even Famous Five.
To series one. Maybe I'm not too familiar with
Like,
Famous Five.
It's like a childhood thing though. Like some people that watched Scooby Doo growing up that were allowed all the little animated stuff was maybe in favour of that, but I wasn't allowed animated stuff. I was allowed books.
Yeah, but what's new, I think, has superseded both this and that, and like Mystery Incorporated. It's so good. Like I am so upset that. Well, I'm glad and upset that I didn't watch. No, that's an interesting conversation. I don't know if I'd have preferred to have watched Mystery Incorporated when it came out, or if I'm glad I watched it in
I
hindsight.
think we were in a different era of our lives then, so it's perhaps best that it was.
When
it
did
was.
Mystery Incorporated come out, Rhianna? Was it 2011?
Mystery Incorporated. I want to say that it came out in 2010.
So I was
You were
12.
11.
I was about 12.
Yeah.
No,
I was
probably
8.
with like loads of women in a hot tub at that age.
See, I'm thinking I entered my like bad phase at 14, so I wasn't.
14.
It wasn't a good time. It was certainly a downward spiral by that time.
Was that 2016?
No, 2012 was when I was 14, and if this came out in 2010,
Wasn't that when the world ended?
I was certainly heading that way.
Wow, so you didn't see the Avengers in the cinema?
No.
I
don't
didn't
think I
either.
did. I
It's okay.
didn't.
I hadn't seen a single Marvel movie from start to finish until I met you.
People will lose respect for me, but I had a choice between watching the first Avengers movie in the cinema or the first Amazing Spider-Man, and I watched the first Amazing Spider-Man. And you know what? I don't regret it.
No, I wouldn't regret that.
I think it was. I think it was good. I think this is a different. Okay, one day I'll do a Marvel podcast. It'll be maybe sometime
When
before.
Rhianna's caught up.
Sometimes before or after my
No.
Doctor Who podcast, but it's coming.
The thing is, you'll bully me, JayBee, so much. Like, we'll get to Endgame, and it's like, oh, so Endgame, this is the one that took Rhianna forever, and I ended up being the one to force her. I gave her the ultimatum.
Enid Blyton invented Scooby Doo. It belongs
Do you want to
to
know
the
what
UK. Yes, it does. Oh, that's right.
On JB's theory of that, okay, there's a book called The Meddling Kids.
Oh yeah, there is.
And obviously when you hear meddling kids, everyone instantly thinks of Scooby Doo. And on the front page, there's a picture of 4 children and a dog.
And so everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, it's like Scooby Doo."
But as soon as you
adults.
turn it round to the back, it's the Enid Blyton fan club.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that a little bit interesting.
So America, again, you've just stolen from the UK. You tried it with the In-Betweeners.
Oh, God.
You tried it with the IT crowd. I grant you succeeded with The Office in season 2. But, like, come on now. Get your own ideas.
I have a few things, little notes. One, do you want to know something creepy about Mystery Incorporated?
Yes, please.
So the first episode was 5th of April 2010. And, you know, we all know how the final episode ends, where it's like everything circles back and everything's changed. The final episode aired 5th of April 2013. Like the same day. That's so creepy. Also, you know how you were saying that the UK, well, England owns Scooby and that? 50 years ago, well, technically 51, 52 years ago, the BBC, the British Broadcast Corporation, is that it? Yeah. Tried to axe Scooby Doo, and the only reason that it was saved was because there were Glasgow children who protested, and there was a petition in Scotland because BBC wanted to just ban Scooby Doo completely for ruining kids, and apparently it was traumatizing kids and all this. So
Wait,
originally
we had that in the UK. That sounds so American.
Yeah.
Isn't that what people want to do to Peppa Pig now, though? Because they think it's making their children spoiled little brats.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That sounds like such an American. Think about the children.
So,
we can't be having them seeing no spookiness, no gays, and no colours on the TV.
There's a it's black and white. Oh my gosh, this shows like the age and everything. One of the signs that the kids are holding up is "Save Scooby Doo, that ever hungry hound." Aww. Glasgow saved Scooby Doo, and they they were like holding up things like Scooby Doo cardboard cutouts, things like this, because
sorry. I was going to say, do you think that's why Frank Welker only goes to the Comic-Cons in Scotland as opposed to the UK?
Yeah.
As opposed to England?
Yeah.
To be fair, that's the best thing I've heard come out of Scotland. No, that sounds rude. Okay, Peter Capaldi we got. He's great. Who else? I'm trying to redeem myself now because I feel like I've just disrespected Scotland.
Isn't like James Bond?
Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor, legend.
James
we went
McAvoy,
there, so technically
David
we came
Tennant.
out of there.
Oh yeah, we came out of there. Oh yeah, David Tennant. I always forget that he's Scottish because as the Doctor, he's like, "Oh hey man," I can't do his accent, but then you hear him in like, and his original name was literally like it was like David St. MacDonald. It was like the most.
Oh, don't they kind of play on that a little bit in Nativity?
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, Scotland.
David
Thank you for
Tennant.
saving Scooby.
Karen Gillan.
Oh, don't talk to me about her. She's Peng. You
Peng.
don't know Karen Legs for Days Gillan?
No.
Nebula.
Amy Pond. You know the
Nebula.
companion from
isn't she
Vincent
from
and the Doctor.
Jumanji?
Yeah, she's Ruby
Nebula.
Roundhouse. She would have been a great Daphne back in the day, but we're digressing. And I apologise because it's my fault.
They find torn up negatives, so they're like, "Ooh, somebody's got a picture they don't want us to see."
What's a negative?
It's like the original print of a photograph.
Okay,
when,
I'll back it.
you know, I think it's from when you had to do like development of photographs as opposed to just like digital.
I remember finding them. Yeah.
Okay. So they start to investigate. They have a funny scene where Scooby has to cross the rope bridge without the bridge. JayBee. Okay. And
I'm
that's
sorry,
where
I was burping and I didn't want to.
Gross. That's where they meet the Hermit of the Hills.
Oh my god, this hermit is so annoying. I never liked them as a kid. As a kid, they annoyed me. And now I'm thinking, did they just listen to the Hermit's voice and think that's what we want Velma to sound like one day? And that's why Kate McCoochie was hired. What is this? Come back! Like, oh my god.
Okay, so
No, I don't know who was the voice actor for that, but fire them.
there's this place.
Oh, would you like to know?
I swear to God, if it was Don Messick or someone like legendary, I'm gonna cry. Who was it?
It was Kate McCoochie. No, it wasn't Kate McCoochie.
Boo. Kate McCoochie's
Hey, she wasn't even born then, was she?
No,
It was a
was Don
mistake,
Messick.
to be honest. I think
Oh,
her
it was
parents
Don-
should have been careful.
It was Don Messick.
Oh,
JayBee.
really?
Look what you've just done.
Yeah.
No.
Apologise.
I am so sorry, Mr. Messick.
But-
Like,
Do you want to know something that should redeem?
was he on drugs
This?
at the time or something?
No. He also voiced, the chick and like all of the chicks.
Aw. No, that's
So
cute.
that's yeah. And Casey Kasem voiced Mr. Carswell and the sheriff, whilst Frank Welker also voiced the bank guard.
All those ones that are no longer with us. I love Casey Kasem, love Don Messick, and also Dawes Butler. I think I'd be too scared of messing up with the other two, but I'm convinced that I could have, way back in the day, come up with some decent interview questions for Dawes Butler that that in hindsight I could have had a good talk with him.
You know who else you could have thought of some interview questions for, JayBee?
Don't, because I wasn't.
Is that not a story to be shared?
You can share it, but I don't want to talk about it, even if someone asks about it in a Q&A.
Oh, no, we can talk about this at any stage. It was really funny. So, JayBee was asleep, as he often is. And
I know this story.
he speaks in his sleep quite a lot. And so
Oh my-
sometimes I decide to just lead him on, have a bit of a conversation.
Lead me
And it's
on.
really funny. And so he started telling me that we'd got an interview scheduled, and I was like, oh, okay. Here's the interview, and he was like, I've got the questions. I was like, okay. Where are the questions? Do you need me to go and print them? And he was like, they're in the archive. It's like, okay, what questions are in the archive? Is it the ones for Casey Kasem? I was like, oh,
No.
okay, JayBee, are we interviewing Casey Kasem? And he went, it's for when we might, they're in the archive.
Oh gosh, JayBee. I love that story so much.
I don't know what's better or worse. The fact that I talk in my sleep, who the heck knows what I'm going to say now?
Oh, I know.
Or that in my state of physical dreaming, it was interview stuff. I don't know.
I mean, do you want to know something that will, I think, make it easier for you to decide, JayBee?
Yes, please.
So, fun fact about me, I also talk in my sleep, but I don't talk in English. I talk in different languages.
Is it the bonkers language?
No, I've spoken in like Spanish, in Japanese, in Italian, another my mum and sister have a list of languages I've spoken. And do you know what makes it even more funny? When I'm awake, I know very, very little of each of those languages. I can say broken sentences in Spanish. I can sing a whole song in Italian. I don't speak Japanese at all, but I speak them in my sleep, and they've done Google Translate, like where you can speak into it and then it translates it, and it shows up as those languages, and it makes sense. So.
Maybe you're getting possessed by bonkers.
I mean, after watching the videos we've been watching about hauntings the last few days, I don't know that I can cope with that.
Well, actually, one day we're going to arrange something.
No, I'm not doing that. You and Rhianna can do that. You,
No.
Rhianna, and smASH can do that.
No. It has to be the whole
No way.
team.
No way.
And the dog. Everyone individual. It
not
needs
if
to
it-
be. We need me.
No.
We need you. We
Rihanna.
need smASH. We need Tati. We need Rhianna. And we need smASH's sock
Rihanna.
puppet.
He was watching videos of people going to the original Conjuring house with spirit
No.
boxes and all this
No.
stuff, and like weird stuff
Oh.
was happening. like people were locked in the basement, the door locked itself, and they couldn't get out. And I'm like, no, JayBee. And he's like, yeah, we can do this with like smASH and Rhianna. I'm like, no.
No.
Wait, so
No.
then will it just be
Absolutely
me
no.
and potentially Daddy Dev?
And I don't even think he would like no to the HE double hockey sticks.
Well, I'm gonna
There's
ask
no
him.
way.
I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna message him. I'm gonna hit him up.
Slide into those DMs.
I'm gonna slide into Daddy's DMs.
Right, back to the episode. So,
Oh god.
once they've seen the hermit in the hills, the creeper's in the mystery machine. And I don't like that. No one's allowed in the mystery machine that's not one of the gang.
My name is Jeff.
And we have the unmasking that it was the bank president. Dun dun dun!
Are you sure it wasn't the POTUS?
Oh my god.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh. Oh, we get a meddling kids as well. I don't know if this is our first one. But
It
we get a
is.
meddling
It's the
kids.
first. It's the first time the culprit uses blasted and meddling kids instead of the word one.
And just to support what JayBee was saying previously, the Meddling Kids book is in support of.
Look, we're gonna. I want to. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put out like a question on the same night or the same day that this is meant to go, and I want to gather some information about to what extent Scooby was based on Blyton. I don't think anyone at the time would have admitted to it, but it definitely was. Like, because I think Enid Blyton was pretty much the original Hanna-Barbera in that she was doing stuff, and I'll be honest, I don't think anyone gave a crap about a lot of what she did. And then I mean, she did a really cool stuff with like preschool stuff like Noddy, but in terms of like for the older kids, nobody cared about flipping Banshee Towers or whatever she was doing.
Okay, so admittedly, the
Maple...
Find Outers ones didn't get given enough credit, or Mallory Towers or all that kind of thing. Famous Five did,
Mallory.
and there's one adaptation of it that's only available in America. It never came to the UK.
But it started
so it was
a formula,
big over
right?
there as well. Yeah.
It was popular, and she was like, hang on a minute, these kids with the dogs, that sells, let's do that. And she replicated that multiple times. Like Hanna-Barbera, they had only two hits at the time, Huckleberry Hound and the Flintstones, and then Scooby came along, blow them up, and then they were like, okay, this works. So they have Goober and the Ghost Chasers, Speed Buggy, like loads of things which is mystery solvers and a mascot that they just rinsed and repeated. So really, Blyton was the blueprints for Hanna-Barbera.
Do you want to know something that I've just found out?
Do you want to know something else completely, Graham?
Hannah and Barbara actually acknowledged that they were inspired by Enid Blyton, but they fell short of admitting plagiarism. They did so on one of the magazine shows in the early 80s, Wayne living in an Enid Blyton world. And the core premise of Scooby Doo, Where Are You, when it was pitched to to different channels and things like that to be produced and shown, it was basically, so you know Enid Blyton and their famous Five and her famous Five books. Well, that's basically the core premise of Scooby Doo, Where Are You? That's basically what they said, and I just read that off of the Enid Blyton Society.co.uk. If you want to find it, along with Wikipedia, but I cross-referenced, and yeah, so they didn't fully admit to plagiarism, but they did say it was based off of.
Ooh. I'm surprised that Enid Blyton never pursued any like residuals or writing credits or any types of credits for that.
Can I just search something on your phone a sec?
Yeah, sure. I know that what am I thinking about? I know that the Flintstones, someone was going to sue in aspects of the Flintstones, but I think the creator outright said, I don't want to be credited Yeah, we know that. Oh, wait a minute. Is that Death?
Yeah, 68. This came out in 69, right?
Oh my
It wouldn't be on here
god.
today.
Yeah. Oh, that's
That's why I wanted to check that. I thought it
mad.
was.
That's kind of mad, but the person has said, I don't want to be known as the person that tore Fred Flintstone off air. That's what the person... but again, like Millie's established, yeah, wow.
It would have been on
Enid
her
Blyton
estate, not on her. She died
passed
the year
away.
before the Scooby Doo started.
That's a shame, you know, because I feel like Scooby got a lot more famous than Enid Blyton, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it's a shame. It's a shame, but it is what it is.
That being said, though, Disney still made a Famous 5 series like 18 years ago. More than that, less than that.
I need to find the links for that. Maybe Rhianna can send them and I'll put them in the description.
Terrible series. If you're talking about the Disney Channel one.
No, not that.
Oh,
like,
that's what I was just talking about. You were like, I want the links to that. I was like, no, you don't. It's terrible.
Wait, is that the one where the... you know
Don't
what?
you dare go where you're going.
This is another thing that I want to talk to about at some point in a Q&A, and it's censorship, because I went back and forth with this guy or this girl or whatever on Instagram, and there's an episode of, I think, maybe not a pup named Scooby Doo, what was the one, get a clue, called Shags to Riches.
Yeah.
And it's like,
also, you know,
that should have been renamed in the UK, I think.
You know, every like in the Cyber Chase, the like post credit scene where Shaggy and Scooby are playing in the arcade, and it has Shag Scoob.
Yeah.
My mum picked up on that, and it just back on the Enid Blyton thing quickly. I've done more searches. This one's on like IMDb facts and trivia. Goes on to say that the show was originally created to expand upon the success of the Archie show, blah, blah, blah. Joe Ruby and Ken Spears, along with Scooby-Doo writer Mark Evanier, have stated that the teenage characters were based on characters from another CBS show, The Many Loves of Dobby Gillis. And Fred was based on Dobby, Daphne on Thalia, I don't know how to say that name, I'm sorry. Velma on Zelda. Oh my gosh, Velma on Zelda, that's funny. And Shaggy on Maynard. And they even had like similar goatee and hairstyles. Another influence was the 1940s drama I Love a Mystery. But all of that leads to the concept was also fully like they finalized their idea once they had seen the Enid Blyton's famous 5 books.
Oh.
You can draw parallels with the characters there, so it kind of leads Julian, which is obviously kind of the Fred of the group. They tried to take control. Ultimately, what they say is the plan goes.
Did she have any surviving relatives? We should try and get them all and convince a lawsuit to happen. So
I'm pretty sure she had a daughter.
Let's do it.
He wrote like her biography.
Look, okay, and this isn't me coming for people for no reason. And again, bear in mind that this is probably a joke because it's in the review. But the UK gets shafted with Scooby stuff. We don't get any of the merch. We get Guess Who Season 2 on DVD like 4 months late. And yet it originated from here. So we should get...
Well, in that case, in theory, I'm stuck with about 4 first edition Scooby-Doos in that room.
Yeah, get Blyton's
signed by the
relatives
original
on.
author.
And we're gonna bully them into a lawsuit. We're gonna... You know what? It's coming home with the football. Scooby's coming home.
To be fair, if Warner Brothers want to go at the YouTube adaptation for copyright, then...
He's one of us. He's one of us. Scooby-Doo.
Don't act like you know football
He's
chants
one of
now.
us.
Come on.
He's one of us.
Oh, good God.
He's one of us.
Wait, JayBee, what was my adaptation of that for you yesterday?
Oh, no. Okay, let's end the episode.
And I'm going to say that this episode's a smash for me. It's iconic. JayBee.
Jeepers It's the Creeper is a smash. Great song. Pretty decent villain, and it brings us back to season 1 with a twist in that instead of the cityscape, it's remote in the middle of nowhere. Rhianna, would you smash or pass Jeepers It's the Creeper?
Gosh, really, JayBee? For me, it's very, plain and simple. It's a smash from me. It's such a fun episode. Great song. Also, a few little tidbits before we wrap up. This was the 4th episode that was voted the most popular for the 1998 VHS Scooby Doo's Greatest Mysteries. Of course, mentioned them before. A Clue for Scooby Doo, Hassle in the Castle. Oh my gosh, that was so weird to say. It's like Hassle in the Castle.
Hassle.
And Hassle.
Doors
And
Butler.
Oh gosh, with the last episode, you're like, oh, the mask.
Yeah, the mask.
the mask.
The most
mask.
prominent letter in that word was R, and there isn't one there.
Do you not say mask?
Mask.
Milly?
Mask.
Mask.
Mask. It's a mask.
JayBee, what do you
It's a
say
mask.
when you expressing a question?
What do we mean expressor?
What do you do if you are presenting somebody with a question?
I'm asking them.
Ask. Is that what you
Yeah.
want to go with that? Not ask.
I'm asking them a question.
You're
No, it's asking. Asking.
I think Milly's just an animal.
The final few little notes I have for this. So a year.
Kidding.
Oh, that. Oh. So the world's first computer virus actually happened a year after this episode, I believe, to the day that it had aired. So they named it the Creeper. That's like a genuine fact as well, which I didn't expect. And then there's so the title's episode is a play on the popular 1938 jazz song Jeepers Creepers. I think it's quite cool. And then there's a thing about a a European fairy tale which happened in the 19th century. And in some versions the character of the it's like the chicken, when Shaggy calls the chicken Little. It's called Henny Penny Chicken Lickin'. And typically in these stories, an acorn falls on the chicken's little head, and he thinks that the sky's falling. He's known the story of Chicken Little, so it's kind of like a little fun fact behind the name of Chicken Little.
Well, let's go for it. Let's do it. I think chickens are great. Hey, don't give me that. So, I think we've had a good talk, and I'll tell you this for nothing. I think the last 2 episodes, this one and the last one, and even Nowhere to Hide, has been some of the most delightful recording sessions that we've had since the movies.
I'm going to say you said some controversial things today.
What do you mean?
Oh, you've said a lot of controversial things.
What?
That you were getting Enid Blyton's relatives to bring a lawsuit against Warner Brothers?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Well, anyway, we'll see you in the next episode. I'm going to go and read some Enid Blyton.
Yeah, it's going to be like Brexit, but with Scooby, and we're remaining Scooby instead of leaving. Like entering, it'll be like Skenter.
Okay.
I'm going to start my own party. What?
The Tea Party.
I'm going to be the best party in the world. I'm going to be the Nigel Farage of Scooby Doo. That's ridiculous. But yeah,
that's controversial.
So
That's
much.
horrific, JayBee.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode. Satire. But it's Jeepers, it's the Creeper. What do you think about the episode? Did you like it? Love it? Or was it just so-so? Let us know in the comment section down below. Next up we have Scooby's Night with a Frozen Fright, which is going to be a chilly one. I'll say wrap up one for that review. That will be out within the next couple of days.
If JayBee's not cancelled first.
So if you do want to hear that and so much more, then please like, comment and subscribe to JayBee and Milly. And once more, you can find all of our social links in the description down below. Oh, Rhianna! No community news.
You did a Screen Rant, JayBee. You forgot about me.
It's not Screen Rant, you animal. It's Screen Rants.
Screen Rant.
Screen
Sorry.
Rants.
Screen
No,
Rant.
screw Screen Rant. Wait, okay, one more controversial thing.
No.
One more
Okay, let's end the
controversial thing.
recording.
One more controversial thing.
Thanks, bye.
I think that the
Thanks,
worst thing,
everyone.